Lucas was an aspiring artist who spent his days painting in a small, dusty studio on the edge of town. Despite his passion, Lucas had little success, selling only a few paintings at local fairs. One rainy afternoon, he wandered into an old art shop, hidden down an alley he had never noticed before. The shop was filled with strange supplies, including brushes of all shapes and colors. Behind the counter sat an elderly man with a long gray beard, watching Lucas closely. Looking for inspiration, the man asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Lucas nodded, explaining how his art often felt lifeless and lacking. The old man's eyes sparkled as he reached below the counter. He pulled out a small, worn paintbrush, with a handle covered in intricate carvings. "This is no ordinary brush," the man said with a mysterious smile. "With this brush, whatever you paint becomes real." Lucas stared at the brush in awe, unable to believe the man's words. Yet, something deep within him urged him to believe. Without hesitation, Lucas purchased the brush and rushed home. That night, he sat in front of a blank canvas, feeling a surge of excitement. As he began painting, his strokes felt different, more alive. He painted a simple apple, bright red and shiny, with a single leaf. When he finished, he felt a strange tingling in his fingers. To his astonishment, the apple slowly appeared on his table, looking exactly like the one on his canvas. Lucas was speechless, staring at the apple in disbelief. He reached out and touched it. It was real, fresh and juicy. His heart raced as he realized the brush truly held magical power. Lucas couldn't wait to test the brush further, his mind brimming with possibilities. He painted a bouquet of roses, and within moments, they appeared, their fragrance filling the room. Encouraged, he painted a small golden coin, which shimmered in his palm moments later. Day after day, Lucas explored the brush's magic, creating objects from his imagination. However, he kept his discovery a secret, fearing others would want the brush for themselves. One night, he had a daring idea. He would paint an entire scene, a place he could enter. With careful strokes, he painted a vast meadow filled with flowers, under a sky of endless stars. When he finished, the room filled with an overwhelming scent of wildflowers. The painted scene glowed, pulling him towards it. As he reached out, his hand disappeared into the canvas. Lucas took a deep breath and stepped forward, finding himself standing in the meadow he'd just painted. The air was fresh, the grass soft beneath his feet. He laughed in amazement, feeling a new sense of freedom. For hours, he wandered through his own creation, marveling at every detail. But as dawn approached, he felt the world around him begin to fade. He hurried back, stepping out of the canvas just in time. Exhausted, but exhilarated, he decided he had to try this again. Over the next few days, he painted scenes from all over the world. He visited enchanted forests, snowy mountains, and even a mysterious underwater world. Each painting felt more vivid and alive than the last. One day, he painted a bustling marketplace in an exotic city. Stepping inside, he marveled at the colorful stalls and lively music. A young girl approached him, handing him a small flower as a gift. Lucas smiled, realizing he could interact with his creations. Every journey filled him with joy, each world more captivating than the last. However, the more he painted, the more his creations seemed to whisper to him. They seemed to want something, a purpose, a life beyond his canvas. One evening, as he painted a mystical forest, a strange feeling washed over him. The forest felt alive, as if it had a will of its own. Stepping into the forest, he encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. "You have great power, Lucas," the owl said, its voice echoing in the air. "But with power comes responsibility." Lucas felt a chill, Realizing the owl knew about his brush. Your creations are not merely objects, the owl continued. They are fragments of your own soul. Lucas listened, feeling a deep connection with the owl's words. The owl warned him about losing himself in his own creations. Lucas returned to his world, pondering the owl's advice. Days passed and he began to feel a strange emptiness. He noticed that each painting seemed to drain a part of his energy. His friends and family started to worry, noticing his pale complexion. Determined to find answers, he returned to the old art shop. The shopkeeper greeted him, as if expecting his return. "The brush has a history," the old man explained. "It was created to bring beauty into the world, but it demands a price." Lucas realized the brush was slowly consuming his spirit. Torn between his passion and his well-being, he faced a difficult choice. The shopkeeper offered him a way out, a ritual to return the brush's power to its origin. Lucas hesitated, unwilling to part with his gift. But he knew he could not continue without losing himself. With a heavy heart, he agreed to the ritual. Together, they traveled to a hidden mountain peak under the full moon. The shopkeeper guided him through an ancient chant, releasing the brush's power. As the final words were spoken, the brush dissolved into a burst of light. Lucas felt a wave of relief, though sadness lingered in his heart. He returned home, knowing his journey had come to an end. Yet, he was grateful for the lessons and wonders he had experienced. Though his creations were gone, the memories lived on within him. Lucas returned to painting, but now his work came from a different place. He poured his soul into each stroke, capturing beauty in a new, natural way. People admired his work, sensing the depth and emotion in every piece. He became known for his lifelike art, though no one knew the secret behind it. In time, he realized he no longer needed magic to bring his paintings to life. His experiences had transformed him, making his art powerful in its own right. He found peace, knowing his journey had shaped him. And as he painted, he felt connected to the worlds he once visited. Sometimes, he could almost hear the whisper of the old owl. His art flourished, each piece a tribute to the magical adventures he'd lived. Lucas became a renowned artist, his work admired by many. But he always kept a small apple painting, a reminder of his journey. The magic had changed him, showing him the true power of creativity. His paintings became his legacy, inspiring others to see beauty in the ordinary. Though the brush was gone, its spirit lived on through his work. Lucas continued to paint, each canvas a new adventure. His journey had taught him to believe in himself and his art. And with every stroke, he felt the magic within him. The world, in its own way, became a magical place through his eyes. And Lucas, now at peace, knew he had finally found his true purpose.